A second pass through helps me address the thing that you obviously have to do. Whoever you are reviewing for will give you a list of items that they want to make sure that you look at, and the Dana Center is no exception to that. This, for me, can be the hardest part because when I'm not yet familiar with the list, because it can be quite a long list, it sometimes takes me more than one read through to make sure I've looked at everything on the list. Also, when the authors are still unfamiliar to me, I don't know what strengths they have and what weaknesses, which things on the list they always meet and which things they don't. Towards the end of the project, when I get more familiar with the author and more familiar with the list, this starts to go a lot quicker. The comment that you see on the screen right now comes from one thing they asked for was comparing the teacher notes and the student pages and making sure that all the directions agreed and that all the objectives agreed. And it looks like in at least one case I found a difference. This was actually for the background before the lesson 3.1 material. Something else I was asked to do was to make sure the objectives were met, and I wasn't sure that there were proportional problems in lesson 3.1a. I think part of it was a confusion. I wasn't sure after reading the lesson whether proportion was being used the way that it's typically used in a pre-algebra class in a community college, or whether it was being used in the vernacular. Sometimes in statistics, for instance, I've seen proportion used to mean ratio, and so I just pointed out that either the objective wasn't met or there was some clarity issues that needed to be dealt with. I was also asked to review the different features of the lessons, and one of them was monitoring your readiness. And I know that the Dana Center has been very good about trying to make sure that students are reflective, and so this lesson this question, number 17, which is repeated throughout, this might actually do what they need to, but I was a little bit nervous that if the students were just assigning a number, that they weren't being truly reflective, or at least they could get away without being truly reflective. Since I think it's still in there, I think the Dana Center is confident it works, but I just like to point out things like that. Another thing they asked for was to make sure that the directions were clear, and so here I picked out one where in problem number 17 it talked about a contextual sentence. Now I had the disadvantage that I hadn't read the first two sets of lessons, the Unit 1 and Unit 2 lessons, so it may very well be that students did know what a contextual sentence was, but I wasn't sure, so I thought I would bring it to their attention. Again, there was a long list of these, so I could have gone on and on with my examples of this, and I think what you will do next is you'll get a list of a couple of those, and again you'll turn to the lessons that support 3.2, and you'll be asked to find examples that you think should have been brought to the attention of the folks at the Dana Center, and you'll have a few minutes to do that on your own, and then a couple minutes to compare with a partner, and then you'll have a group discussion about that.